This storage rack is incredibly helpful, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can recreate it. And this entire thing is built with off-the-shelf 3/4 inch electrical conduit, which if you're unfamiliar, that is just a steel tubing that is normally used by electricians, but using the MakerPipe connector system, which is something that we manufacture in upstate South Carolina, you can turn EMT conduit into all kinds of DIY projects, and there's plenty of ideas you can check out on our website or our YouTube channel. But this storage rack was recently shared by a community member, and it's really awesome. Tons of features in this and just a really great idea. So I wanted to do a breakdown of it so you could recreate it if you were interested. So as we can see here, this looks to be just a normal storage rack for sorting laundry and for hanging up laundry. And it's really clever and just got a ton of great things into it, but it's pretty simple overall. So we're going to highlight and break this down. So like I said, built with the EMT conduit, which you can cut with a handheld pipe and tube cutter really easily, and you don't have to do any welding or use any power tools. You can just use that handheld tool, and the MakerPipe connectors go together with a 5mm hex wrench. And we'll highlight the connectors that were used and kind of talk about different things. But here we'll just kind of break down this first part of the frame, which is really simple. And essentially it has feet here on the bottom that they made using flanges, just off-the-shelf flanges. We also have flanges that we manufacture for EMT, but if you want a round flange, then there's a couple of videos we've done in the past on using off-the-shelf plumbing flanges and repurposing those to make connection with flat surfaces or to make feet like this. And so I'll link that video down below so you can check those out. But essentially, we've got those flanges at the bottom to act as a base or a foot for this, and then it looks like they've put something under there. I don't know if it's like, it looks like one of those slider pads. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Since it's on hardwood floor, don't want that metal on wood contact, so putting something there is really clever. And essentially got 4 of those. We can't see the 2 in the back, but they're back there. And we've got 4 verticals here. So we got coming out of those flanges, we've got the verticals going up in all the corners here. And then at the top of those verticals, it looks like they're using some of the off-the-shelf 90-degree fittings. So like I said, these are made for electrical work. We see people use these. Most people are unfamiliar that you can use the MakerPipe T-connector as elbows, which is just sits flush with the vertical and then goes to the other side. So that's something you could replace with that. Or if you wanted to, you could use the off-the-shelf 90s. Just be sure to replace the set screw with the self-tapping screw. I think that increases the strength a bunch. But essentially, you got 4 of those to create these connection points between the front and back legs here. And you can customize the dimensions of this frame exactly how you need for your space or exactly how you want. Maybe you only want 3 bins wide instead of 4. You can customize that really easily, like I said, with the handheld tube cutter. But essentially here we've got that the front and back legs are connected together with those 90s, and then the connector I was just talking about, the T connector that you can use to join 2 pieces of conduit together. This is how it's commonly used, so people don't realize you can use it as an elbow because the pictures that you see or some of the builds you might look at closely, you'll see the T connector used in this way, where it just grabs onto that vertical piece of conduit, and then that piece runs continuously through the top half of the connector. And then you've got another piece here that grabs on, and that goes from one side to the other and terminates in the T connector. So essentially, that's how they're creating these shelves here for the bins. And these bins look like the ones you get at Target. I've picked up some of these and used them for different things. And I mean, you can use any bin, of course, and customize it for your needs. Even if you're using some massive totes or something, you could recreate this frame exactly for how you need it in the bins that you want to use. But essentially here, the reason they use T connectors and not, say, the 90-degree connector to create these shelves is because a big part of this is the fact that these bins are slanted, so you can easily put things in there and easily grab them out. So the way they did that was the bars that are going from one side to the other here in the T connectors on the front pipes, they're a little bit lower than they are on the back. So you can see that the bin is essentially resting, can't really see it back there, but it's resting on a piece of conduit that's going from one side to the other. That's attached in the same way with T connectors back there somewhere and then going across. And that's where the back of the bin is resting. But because this is slanted, they can easily grab stuff out of it. And so they just basically spaced the bars going across so that they could easily slant these baskets. And so it rests on the back of the bin, and then the front catches on the lip of the bins there. And essentially that's how they did these cross supports from one side to the other. And it's pretty simple. And again, you can customize this exactly for the dimensions that you want. So that's pretty much the main part of the frame that supports these plastic bins here. But then we can see they also added an upper area to hold clothes, which is really awesome, as we can see here. And they've got a close-up of how this is attached. It looks like they're using more of the T connectors. to grab on here. And they also spray painted all of the connectors black, as we can see, because those come in silver, and they spray painted those black, which you can do really easily. And it kind of, the silver base coat that it has on there is corrosion resistant, and it acts as a really good base coat for spray paint. But essentially, they've got another T-connector grabbing on to send another vertical up all the way to the top of the build. And then they've got two maker pipe adjustable angle connectors grabbing on to the build on the bottom part and to this vertical upright. And this just adds a support for all these clothes that are be hanging up there, instead of just having this single wall that could, potentially lean or bend forward or backward. They've got those connections there to support the uprights. And essentially, it's pretty simple from there. So then it just goes up. Those T connectors we just looked at are sending the vertical pole all the way up. And again, customize the dimensions exactly how you want. And then it looks like they're using more of the off-the-shelf 90-degree elbows to grab on to the vertical, and then add the support pipe from one side to the other. And then that's pretty much it. From there, they're able to hang up their clothes, as we can see in this photo. And they've got all kinds of storage down here for all kinds of, different articles of clothing and different things. And you could customize this. You could put this inside of a closet if you wanted to add storage, and maybe you want to, divide up, different things, like colors or whites, or, certain articles of clothing that you want to wash together. You could do all kinds of stuff with this. It's incredibly functional and really helpful, and not too complicated to build. So really cool. And this was shared, I think it just said S. So whoever S is, we appreciate you posting this. Really awesome. And I'll link this down below if you want to check it out. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those down below as well. Thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.